Hello Penguinauts, I'm the Beardy Penguin and welcome to another Q&A video because the UK has just gone into lockdown and I haven't got anything better to be doing. So let's just jump straight into the questions. They date back to just after my last Q&A video in July of last year and then brings them right up to date to modern events. So, any new games that you plan to do a new series on? Not at the moment, really. Well, I was going to say, with the amount of time I have now, I have quite a bit of time on my hands, what with lockdown and everything happening, but really, most of my subscribers are here for Kerbal Space Program. So I dedicate most of my time and effort on this channel into making Beyond Kerbal and continuing to produce that. That does require quite a bit of effort, quite a bit of time. And now and then I try things, but really the sort of games that most of my fan base are interested in watching are strategy games. So I've been playing a fair bit of Sins of the Prophets. But a lot of the Paradox games and everything like that, they're very, very long. And yeah, I really don't have the time or really patience anymore to be sitting down and doing continuous commentary, at least alone, with these massive 20-hour long campaign things. Same with XCOM 2, I used to do videos on that, and yeah, I really just sort of can't be bothered with it anymore. Now when I play a game like that, I want to sit back, relax and just play it to myself. I'm a lot less of a Let's Play channel than I used to be, and that seems to be reflected in the views as well, that people go elsewhere for Let's Plays. I'll be honest, I think I've got some good ideas and I'm very proud of a lot of videos that I've done, but when it comes to just doing a standard Let's Play, I don't think I'm all that entertaining for the most part. So yeah, I've sort of veered away from just sort of Let's Plays and playing more niche games, things like Sins of the Prophets and everything. And I will be playing with a couple of other YouTubers soon, which I'm quite excited about. So yeah, sort of collaborating and doing things that other people haven't already done is what I tend to like to do on this channel, at least nowadays. Do you ever plan on doing something like Fall of Kerbin again? Not anytime soon, and definitely not going to be before KSP 2 comes out. It takes so much time and so much organization to set up any of those multiplayer things, and it worked really well with Tape because we'd already done a couple of series together. I haven't spoken to Tape now in well over a year. I think he's far too busy with his job and everything to be doing that again, so I'd have to get someone else in, which would be difficult enough finding someone, and I just don't have the time to commit to a large project like that anymore. Who knows, KSP 2 might make things much faster. You know how they're basically rebuilding the whole game from scratch and everything. I wait to see how sort of the new BD Armory in KSP 2 will turn out. So I'm not ruling it out. I would certainly love to do something like Fall of Kerbin again if I get time, but it would almost certainly have to be after uni, or maybe a much smaller project, maybe just over a summer, just like a short 10 episode sort of campaign or something like that. I don't think I'm going to do anything on the same scale, and certainly not involving multiple YouTubers again, because that was such a pain to organize. Your stance on global warming: it'll be alright, won't get done entirely on time, we're all going to die, or it's fake. I'd have to go with B. I think global warming will go much the same way that it goes in The Expanse, in that it happens, essentially, but we cope with it. We build flood defenses, a lot of people get displaced, it's a massive disaster, but in the end, we end up beating it. Discovering fusion power, and we very gradually managed to get the world on a 100% renewable stance, but by then it is too late to avoid a lot of the worse effects. But yeah, I think it will happen. I think it's pretty much inevitable at this point. It's just human nature, really. I don't think there's much we can do to stop it, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the human race at all. I think we will deal with it and we will adapt. Have you ever played VR? Will you ever play VR? And if you will it go on YouTube? I have never played VR. I've tested it at conventions and things, and I found it was really cool, but for the amount that it costs, I've always thought it's just still too much of a gimmick. But that was until the very recent release of Half-Life Alyx, which seems to have fully embraced it and actually be the first game to fully embrace VR. and actually do it properly, in my opinion. I mean, trust Valve to get it right. So that's the first game I've ever seen which has made me actually think, wow, okay, if I had access to VR, I would totally get that. Until now, it's just sort of been little demos and kind of gimmicky, really, in my opinion. There was nothing that really interested me, especially considering how much it costs. So if more games like Half-Life Alyx start coming out, then maybe in the next couple of years I might invest in a VR headset and start playing them. And yeah, maybe it would go on YouTube, I don't know. But yeah, I would have said no outright if Half-Life Alyx hadn't just come out and blown everyone away. How do you feel about the current development of KSP? Okay, so I love KSP, don't get me wrong, but sort of, it's messy. Like, the original vision of the game, I feel, has sort of been lost, and I feel like the developers should have been polishing the game, you know, more performance enhancements, unifying the art style like Restock has done, so it's got a consistent art style, you know, adding clouds, increasing the fidelity of the textures and everything, and just polishing the game and making it the best game it could be as was, and then adding more stuff on top of that. Whereas it's just been sort of unfocused, sort of with the expansions haphazardly adding parts that again conflict with previous art styles of other parts, and then now and then having an update which changes the look of a few different parts. Like, they just need to sit down and overhaul the whole thing, and then start adding things. The way they've been going, it's just sort of messy and unfocused, in my opinion. And it needs to take a step back and stop doing things that modders can add, and actually focus on things that they can't add, and actually just making it the best game it can be. Yeah, I haven't been an opponent of the expansions, but I haven't been a massive fan of them. I mean, I got them for free because I bought the game so early in its development, but if I hadn't got them for free, I wouldn't have bought them myself. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily slimy of them to have done that, because of course they need to keep paying for the continued development of the game. I don't have any issue with the expansions, but I think they could have been better. You know, if you look at the original developer interviews, they spoke about expansions adding whole new star systems and really like fundamentally changing the game, and not just sort of adding a bunch of parts that mods already added, and in some cases did better. But you know, most of my issues and everything seem to be essentially what they're doing with KSP2. So I'm very excited for KSP2. But yeah, Squad seems to have sort of lost its way with KSP. But that's, in my opinion, just because most of the, if not all of the original developers are gone now anyway. So that's probably why that ended up happening. What do you think of the other engineering courses at your university? Okay, right. So let me give you Beardy's guide to engineering courses. So I'm aerospace engineer. You know, we're the coolest. We're like the hot shots. We're like Maverick from Top Gun. You got the mechanical engineers. We like the mechanical engineers. We've got a lot in common with them. We're sort of allies. We're like, yeah, they're our bros. They're nice, friendly chaps. You got the ship scientists, who we pity, because nobody likes ship science. I mean, we like the people, but we pity them having to do the course that they're doing. You got the acoustical engineers, who are basically like just sort of adorable in the same way that a mentally disabled dog is adorable. It's just kind of like, yeah, okay, you guys play with your loudspeakers. That's fine. You have fun doing that. We'll leave you to your own devices, really. And then we have the electronic engineers, who we love. They're great fun, best fun at parties. And then you've got the civil engineers, who think they're the most fun at parties, but really everyone hates them. All you really need to visualize the kind of people the civil engineers are: there's an engineering society that covers all of engineering, and then there's the civil engineering society. They made their own society just for civil engineering. People who do civil engineering are basically people who looked at what A-levels they had, and then looked at clearing and saw what courses were available and went, oh, civil engineering will take me, I guess I'll do that. Nobody goes into civil engineering because they want to do civil engineering, unless they have a boner for bridges or some shit. Seriously. All of them think they're too cool to be engineers. They all think they're better than all of the rest of the engineering disciplines. I mean, obviously we do at aerospace, but that's because we're correct. But they all just, they're the kind of people that back in school, you know, thought they were cool and yet weren't. But now they've gone to uni and they're in a little echo chamber of people that all assure each other that they're actually cool, but everyone just hates them. And yeah, thank God they have their own society, so we don't have to put up with them. But yeah, we really don't like civils, and we have a lot of chants and a lot of songs to make fun of quite how much we hate them. But the feeling's mutual. They seem to hate every other engineering discipline and think they're better than all the rest of us. So yeah, rant over. Don't like civil engineers. Why did you change the intro from the old one seen in Fall of Kerbin to the new one seen in every one of your new videos? I didn't like it. The old one in Fall of Kerbin was made in PowerPoint. Then I updated it to the animated one, so the first properly animated one. But even that one I wasn't too happy with. I wanted a more hand-drawn sort of art style, so I got it redone, professionally animated. And I've got the current one, which I'm really quite happy with. Yeah, I don't know, just sort of a bit of a perfectionist. I always like to keep improving my sort of production values and everything. That's why I got channel art and everything made for me. And yeah, I'm really happy with the current intro. I think it looks really good, and I got a very positive reception when I first sort of aired it. So yeah, that's why I just kept changing it. I wasn't comfortable with it, and after a while I sort of get bored of my current intro, current art style, and I just like to change things up a little bit. What is your opinion on KSP2? I am really excited for KSP2. I probably can't even express in words how excited I am, because everything I wanted them to do for KSP, basically rebuild it from the ground up, and all the alterations I wanted them to make, they're doing in KSP2. I really hope that they don't rush it, they take their time, and they get it right. But it really looks like the right people are working on it. They're really passionate about the project. Everything I've seen so far makes me very excited, and I'll be happy to pay full price for it. I'm fully for it. As someone who's got thousands of hours in KSP, I know quite a few people, at least I've spoken to some of my friends, that are like, oh, but why does KSP need a sequel? Like, people who haven't played it and found a lot of the flaws and a lot of the limitations of KSP, and having an actual development studio, a game development studio working on it, because Squad isn't actually a game developer, it's actually a marketing company, I believe, working on it and having the vision from the beginning, knowing exactly what they're going to do and working towards it, not just sort of incrementally updating. Because when KSP was first being developed, each update they thought might have been their last, so they were just throwing things in. There was no vision, no clear direction as per se. But with KSP2, yeah, pretty much all of my issues with KSP1 seem to be being solved, so I am very excited. What was the third, fourth A-level subject you took? And any tips for GCSE and A-level students? So my A-levels were maths, physics, computer science, and music. If you want to go into engineering, I would highly recommend that you do computer science. You will not believe how helpful computer science is in engineering now. It is unbelievably useful as an A-level. Any tips for GCSE and A-level students? Basically, just if you want to get into engineering, do computer science. As for any other tips, really learn to revise during your GCSEs, because you don't want to have to learn to revise at A-level. And I really mean that, like, learn how you best revise, like, seriously. And definitely don't try and revise in your bedroom. That's definitely a big one, because I tried that and yeah, it just doesn't work. You have a dedicated study space, like somewhere else in the house. I use like my dining room and set up shop in there. Have a dedicated study space, so you go in, you work there for a designated time each day. Make sure you've got a schedule, and you work for like 45-minute segments, have a 15-minute break, 45-minute segments, and sit down, work for, limit yourself to like 6 hours or so, 5-6 hours, and then you can go and relax. And like, having known that I've got a good day's revision done, I could then relax for the rest of the afternoon. And if I got up at like 9, I could get my solid 6 hours done and then still have a lot of the day left to actually relax. So yeah, I got a really good revision sort of scheduled down for A-levels, but it took not revising very well for GCSE to actually learn that. But yeah, that's all the advice I can really give you. Not that I really know what's going on at the moment, because A-levels and GCSEs seem to have been cancelled, so obviously I'm not doing them anymore. You'll have to figure it out yourself. It seems that they're giving out grades based on predicted grades or something like that, so yeah, I can't really help with that, but for next year's GCSE A-level students, that is my advice. Have you got a roommate? I haven't got any roommates, no. But I do live with housemates. So, I mean, last year I was in university halls and I lived with a bunch of people. I didn't really get on with them very well. But this year I've got housemates. So I moved into a private house. There are 7 of us total, and I absolutely love them, and we were having an absolute blast. We have quite a few sort of costume parties and things. We have a lot of in-jokes. We get on like a house on fire. Well, hopefully not actually like a house on fire, but we get on really, really well, and we're having a really, really good time at uni together. How was Dear Evan Hansen, Beardy? Yeah, so I saw Dear Evan Hansen in the West End. For those of you who don't know, it's a relatively new musical, and it's just started touring in the UK. I assume it's on pause. Well, it's not touring, it's on in the West End, but I assume it's on pause now with lockdown and everything. But yeah, I was lucky enough to see it a few weeks ago, and it was absolutely incredible. It was everything that I hoped it would be. If you had to pick one of your own videos as your favourite, which one would it be? Not gonna lie, probably just Fall of Kerbin as a whole. I am unbelievably proud of everything that we did with that, especially season 2 and 3. A lot of the sort of changes we made and everything really, really left us with a lot of freedom to experiment, and just some of the battles was such good fun. Probably my favorite video would be, I think, episode 24, when we had the giant naval battle and I had my Yamato class battleship. That was such good fun, and it's the sort of thing that you can only achieve with an extended series, because there was so much build up to that, so much preparation. You had 24 episodes leading up to it, all the battles, fighting for control of the sea, and destroying Tape's carrier groups and everything, me using more varied tactics and managing to sort of out strategy him, all leading to that final battle with an assault on a port being defended by Tape's navy. All the sort of lead up to it and everything, I'm really proud of how that all worked out. When you design a craft for a large mission, in what order do you design it? So what I do is I start with all of the landers. So each lander for its individual purpose. So I'll probably start with each one and calculate how much delta V it needs, or maybe if it's carrying a rover, design the rover first, then figure out how much delta V I need to get that down to the surface. So I design all the landers and everything first, and then what I do is I build the mothership. So I have fuel tanks, each with the weight of each of the relevant landers, and then I figure out how much delta V I then need the mothership to have to get it all the way there and all the way back again. And then after I've done that, I then add all of the necessary life support modules depending on how many Kerbals I need for the mission. So I sort of work my way up. I design all of the different landers and various components, and then I work my way all the way up to the mothership, and I design that bit last. If you could only use one mod for the rest of your KSB career, what would you choose? Almost certainly KSB Interstellar, just because it adds so much. I've done playthroughs of career mode in the past with just Interstellar, and it adds such a breadth of things. In fact, in Beyond Kerbal, I've had to remove a lot of its aspects because it is so bloated, but it gives you so many different options, has so many different aspects. Definitely Interstellar. Will you at some point upload your game data folder for us plebs who are too stupid for getting the installation right? For the millionth time, no, I will not do this. The only reason I made a mod pack for Fall of Kerbin, and especially for Kerbal Rising, was because we modified so many of the mods for our own ends, and I made a couple of my own mods for that. So people wanted to play with our craft and have build stuff for us and everything, especially in Kerbal Rising, where we had to make sure everything was absolutely compatible because people were submitting craft to us. That was why I had to make a mod pack. But with Beyond Kerbal, I'm literally just downloading all the mods. Yeah, I'm removing some parts of it, but literally just go through the list in the description, download each of the mods, throw them in game data, and it'll work. It's as simple as that. If I redistribute mods, it breaks a lot of licensing stuff, and a lot of the mod developers get angry at me. I try to get the permission of most of the mod developers for Beyond Kerbal and Fall of Kerbin. But I can't be bothered to do that for the amount of mods I'm using for Beyond Kerbal, and also it's just unnecessary. Just literally go through the list, Google each one, download them. It's not that hard. What would you do if you woke up as a girl and everyone treated you as if you'd always been one? I mean, the true answer, probably masturbate a lot. And yet, to be fair, as a bi person anyway, it probably wouldn't actually affect me that much in the long run. So yeah, actually wouldn't bother me all that much. Do you prefer apple or orange juice? Okay, this is actually more in depth than you might think, because I love fresh orange juice. It is my favorite thing, but orange juice is so inconsistent. You can have incredible fresh orange juice, or you can have absolutely awful orange juice. Apple juice is not as good as fresh orange juice, but you are always going to get something consistently good. Apple juice is always good. It's reliable. So for the most part, I drink apple juice. If I'm on holiday, I'll drink fresh orange juice. So yeah, for the most part, I will get apple juice because I've never actually had bad apple juice, but I have had a lot of awful orange juice, so that's my sort of reasoning there. Will you remaster Macy Dean's Spirit of Kerbin series? I don't see why it needs remastering. I mean, Macy Dean was a massive inspiration for all of the projects that I did, all the Warfare series that I made, and it's basically religious text at this point for me. He's an inspiration to a lot of us. I don't see it needing remastering, and also, as well as that being a massive undertaking, I don't see how I could ever even approach what Macy did, let alone improve upon it. So no, I don't think it needs remastering. It's all still there. You can go back and enjoy it, and honestly, I don't think I could ever surpass what Macy managed to do back in the day. Beardy, are you single? If so, up for a date? I mean, I'm technically single as of recently, but things with my ex-missus are a little on the complicated side, so wouldn't exactly be looking for anything. I don't know if this is an offer or just someone who's genuinely curious. But no, I'm not exactly looking for anything right now. Why do people need so much toilet paper? Yeah, relevant question. I have no idea. I don't know why, of all the things to vanish, it was loo roll. I guess it's just because the one thing that all of us need and all of us consume, but why that was the one thing that everyone started stockpiling, I honestly didn't see that coming at all. Me and my housemates, we ran out of loo roll just naturally. I just went to go get some more, and the whole loo roll aisle was empty, and we very nearly ran out of loo roll as a house. And like 7 people in one house, we get through a fair bit of it. I was just going to do my normal shop, and that's the thing. If people just continued just shopping for what they needed, everyone would have had enough. You know, it's just panic buying has made this like an issue for everyone. And it's really, really selfish of people. In the end, I managed to scour a few different shops, and I ended up finding 2 packs in Poundland that managed to get us through to the weekend when we all went home. But yeah, honestly, I have no idea. I saw a really funny meme, which was Thorin from from The Hobbit, and he's got paper sickness. He says, "I will not part with a single roll." But yeah, honestly, I have not got a clue what the hell's got into the minds of all these idiots who are going out panic buying toilet paper. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. I do hope you've enjoyed, and I do hope I managed to get round to your questions if you asked them. If not, then head over to my Discord, link in the description below, head to the Q&A questions section, and feel free to ask some more. I've been the Beardy Penguin, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.